you think Teams Premium will solve all of our life's problems, Paul, throughout?
Oh my God, yes. I can't. Listen, I'm stepping over myself trying to pay for this thing. Actually, to be fair to Teams Premium, uh, there is a lot there. If you actually look at the blog, I covered just a
Hmm.
small portion of it because it's like actually a really long list of stuff. Now, the criticism is that some of that stuff used to be free,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think they're going to see some success with Teams Premium.
Yeah, I feel like they've tried to launch like the Teams Basic and then like the Premium tier several different ways over the past couple of years, and now
Yeah,
they're just throwing it all in there, I guess. But maybe it
it is
works.
the melting pot of Microsoft 365 technologies.
Yeah,
Also,
it kind of is.
in keeping with the kind of marketing trends that emerged in the past 3 days,
Yep.
it is OpenAI slash Chat GPT powered
Mhm.
now. Everything is just we're promoting it like that because it's the new buzzword. It's like
I'll take it over Metaverse.
oh God,
I at
any
least
day.
see value,
Hmm.
perceived value with ChatGPT. Like
Yep.
there's
Yep.
potentially, unlike the Metaverse, which I mean, you can't make
Well, we
legs.
excuse me. I mean, we kind of focus on stuff like AI that can write stuff for you, AI that can make music, AI that can paint paintings,
Hmm.
whatever. But the reality is, the mixed reality is, no, is that I think there are, well, not better, but more obvious real world uses for this, and they occur in this kind of a thing, like all
Yeah.
the face tracking stuff and eye tracking and
Yep.
face centering,
Hmm.
whatever. I mean, and this stuff's been going on for a while. I think now it's almost like Microsoft's coming out with explaining where it got all this stuff from, even if it didn't. I don't know.
Finally unveiled the company behind the curtain, if you will.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Right. Because now that's the hot new thing.
Yeah, I mean the translation stuff, the eye tracking is a little creepy, but the
Yeah,
translation stuff, the
all
real
of it's a
time
little creepy, but
stuff.
that's, I think, honestly, creepy's worked. Creepy works for Google.
Yeah, they
I'm
make.
just, creepy, honestly, is the surest sign of modern magical technology, right? If it's creepy, the technology must be amazing. I think that's where we're at.
Paul throughout the biggest endorser of creepy you'll ever meet.
Famous creepster Paul Thurrott has, not surprisingly, endorsed Microsoft's. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. The most impressive one to me, at least so far, is the Mid Journey product, which we have used at Stardock, not in production or for any like real purposes, but just sort of like conceptual. Like you could
Explain
just
what that is.
type in a prompt, like you can type in
Mhm.
Xbox melting in the Arctic, and it will
Yeah.
give you an Xbox that is melting in the Arctic. It's ridiculous
Right.
how good this
Okay.
stuff is, and so we'll see. We'll
Yep.
see where it
Yep.
goes, but I think
I
Mid
don't plan to
Journeys.
use this for writing or whatever. I don't really need that, but
Oh,
I
you could.
would
So
love.
here's how you use it, Paul Thrupp.
Okay.
So imagine you need right the hero image, the promo image at the top.
Well, I was just gonna say that's what I want.
Yeah.
Because one of the big issues you run into as this little mom and pop store that we are is finding these images, right? So I use certain services where I can get like a license free, or
Hmm.
it's fine to use for commercial purposes, blah blah blah, whatever. But every once in a while you pull like an official Microsoft image that actually came from Getty Images, maybe,
Hmm.
and then you get contacted by a lawyer or whatever. Like generating like unique artwork, so to speak, photos, fake or whatever. I mean, that's huge. Like I would pay for it for that alone.
And you can like $10 a month.
I
Now,
will. I've already signed
now
up
they're
for
getting
it.
sued
Yeah.
currently, and I think so this is where for decades everyone's like we need copyright IP overhauled, like because some of it's kind of gray. This is I think going to be the tipping point, because the question becomes, if you use a base set of images to create another
Right.
images,
Okay.
are
That's true
you
too.
copying that or are you
Or did a
not?
derivative work?
Right.
That's a good question. I mean,
We don't know.
yeah, we don't know. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, and that's something the courts will have to decide, and it's going to take
Yep.
a while, and we'll see. But the cool thing could be, Paul, you could go in there and pretty high
I
degree
know.
of confidence say balance sheet on fire Microsoft, and you would get something that
An
would
awesome
work
image. Yeah, exactly.
perfect for financial statements.
Just won't be the standard dumpster fire image we all use all the time.
It won't just be Microsoft slightly at an angle side of the building shot that
Right. Yeah, no, I literally, that's the thing I keyed in on that exact use case. Like, this is exactly what I need. Like, I don't need help with the writing. Thank you. I could point you to a few other people that might need a little help, but I got the writing. The images is, yeah. I don't feel like paying like for iStock images for like a 300-word blog post that I'm never going to look at again. Like I need something better than that. There needs to be something, well, something like AI. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Microsoft actually has some of this built in, I think, in their designer thing that nobody can manage to get a preview to, although apparently they were giving some out on Twitter, but like, remember that?
Oh, really? That's interesting.
But they don't use Midjourney's stuff. I think they're using Dolly or one of the other things. Whack-a-mole. Who knows what it's called
and
this
that
week.
will evolve, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, well, like I said, I kind of alluded to this earlier. I think Microsoft will overly promote the things that are from OpenAI, or like they're from OpenAI, to ride this wave, and I can't begrudge them that. But then again, this is the company that exaggerated its use of AI in the past with like talking about like spell checking or grammar checking. It's like, guys, come on. It's like you're basically using like a table hash. But whatever, whatever. I get it, and God love them. This is their little moment in the sun, and I'm sure their fear is that it's going to be taken away from them by Google or Amazon or whatever. And, we'll see. So
we'll see. I don't know. Google is apparently calling back in their founders to do,
because that's what you want. The guys from the 1970s, like they're going to figure it out. As I keep saying, it worked great for Microsoft with Bill Gates. Nothing ever went wrong with that guy. It worked great for Tom Brady. He had a great season. It's
he made it to the playoffs. So
don't ever made it to the playoffs. Well, sub 500 record. That's nonsense. That's everything you need to know about both that division and the NFL.
I was about to say, you need to qualify it with the division that he was in.
Right.
But I think the story that will live in legacy is like Tom Brady went into a trash team and a trash division and came out with a trash win to get into the playoffs. And
there you go. Yeah. No, this is like Michael Jordan on the Wizards. It's like, yeah, we get
it.
Yeah.
You
had a good run. What are you doing again?
Like what? Apparently he owns or is a big investor in a professional pickleball league. So maybe that's.
Pickleball is fascinating to me because I've often thought I've reached the limit on what I could care less about, and then something like this happens, and I'm like, nope. There's always a new low, and good Lord, pickleball. I'm not going to get the name of this. I don't know what you call it, a network, I guess, correct? Because who cares? But there's a tennis network. Whatever it's called, the tennis network, maybe.
Probably.
They're adding pickleball coverage to their exciting channel.
I was most disappointed that it didn't involve actual pickles as a pickle connoisseur.
I don't think they're related, but I don't know.
Yeah. And you can also watch MLS Season Pass on Apple TV if that's you've been missing out on life.
All right, since we're like segueing all over the planet today. No, but this is actually kind of interesting to me. So the HomePod is a product I would normally not ever think about buying, and I certainly didn't think about buying it and didn't buy it when the first two versions came out. But with the reviews out for the new version, I'd read a couple of them. I watched a couple of videos, and I have to say there's an interesting use case here, and it's not about music, although I guess you'd use it for music too if you had them, obviously. It's for TV and movies, right? You get two of these things. You put them next to your Apple TV and your screen, and it becomes this Dolby Atmos immersive kind of experience with just two speakers. It's supposed to work really well. And one video I watched in particular was some guys like, look, wasn't impressed by any of these speakers. I don't really care about them. I did this begrudgingly almost. And he's like, I got to tell you, for movies and TV shows, especially with Apple TV, like that experience is supposed to be incredible. So it's like, okay, $600 for a pair of speakers that is probably better than like a Vizio 5-speaker set or something. Like, does this make any sense at all? I don't know, but I actually find myself thinking about this because I do use Apple TV. Am I insane?
If you tell
I
me
don't
it's
know.
better, I'm going to cry because there's a significant investment in Sonos products in this house.
No, I
And,
know that. I know. No, I know. What I just said is crazy. But this actually the same person. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, but he compared it to the Sonos Beam and to some other things and thought that the sound quality was better than with just the Sonos Beam. I mean, obviously, with the Sonos Beam, you can get rears, you can get a sub, and that kind of thing. But I don't know. It's an interesting use case. And then if I wouldn't do this, but Apple Music has spatial audio, albums and stuff. And I honestly, it's a mixed bag, but some of that might be kind of interesting too. I don't know. It's just I know
yeah.
I'm not the guy who dives into the Apple ecosystem necessarily. He says with an Apple Watch, an iPhone, and an iPad. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's just and an Apple TV. I don't know. For entertainment stuff, I actually think Apple does a good job.
They've got a lot of dollars to throw at it.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm not. I can never say never, but I don't envision myself ever switching to Apple Music. But I mean, I guess you never. You never know. I should switch back to the Pixel right now to stop this from happening.
Well, I can't. I'm locked into Spotify
Sonos,
until
of course.
Apple Music has the connect button that Spotify has, where you can just blast it to the Sonos speakers. So
This is So the nice thing about Sonos is if you decide to leave Spotify, or I decide to leave YouTube Music, or blah blah blah, whatever. If I want to use a Google TV with whatever, I mean, this stuff is cross-platform, right? I mean, the problem with the Apple thing is you're pretty much locked into Apple. It's not like this even has like an aux in on it or something. Like you can't do anything else with this. In fact, I think you need an iPhone just to set it up. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that, but
yeah,
it's it's Apple, but still, they're doing interesting stuff with the spatial audio stuff. That's of interest.
I don't even know if I've experienced spatial audio.
Do you have an iPad? Oh well,
I have AirPod
you
Pros.
have AirPods, yeah. So
Should
you
do
can
it.
do that. I mean, you could probably just do a trial of, do a trial of Apple Music for free, and just they have a playlist of just that stuff, and like I said, hit or miss, but some of them are pretty amazing, and like if you have good stereo, such like I experienced this with the Sonos, like it almost feels like instruments are in different places in space. I mean, this kind of adds it around you. It's very interesting, and it does head tracking, right? So you can, if you turn this way, it's still, coming from over there. It's interesting. I don't think music is there enough. I think the real special use case for spatial audio is Dolby Atmos movies.
Yeah, probably.
That kind of thing.
Probably. And we'll
All
probably
right, let's talk about farming next. Something completely
time to plant your
unrelated.
corn.